Hello and welcome to episode 12 in a series of walking guides for the highest mountains in Scotland. In today's episode I'm going to show you the route to climb Ben Avon. This is the northeasternmost Munros in the Cairngorms range. It's about 2.5 hours drive from Glasgow. You start at the Invercold Estate car park and it's about 5 minutes outside of Beinn. The total distance for today's walk is 33 kilometres, and you can cycle a portion of it, and depending on your experience and level of ability you could cycle further. I did meet somebody who on the walk who has cycled about 12 kilometres of the way in. Leaves you with about 10 kilometres of a walk if you can do the cycle. The route finding is fairly straightforward. There are only two real junctions that you need to be careful of, and don't go the wrong way, and I'll point them out. But other than that, there is a reasonably clear path that takes you all the way to the summit. Only when you get to the summit plateau does the path, is it a bit more faint because of the terrain, but you can actually still make out the path, which is quite unusual. Starting at the car park, this path goes in front of these buildings on the left hand side, and you follow that path. I'll zoom out a little bit. The map shows a number of different paths going off, but as long as you just follow the path that you're on, you'll come to a junction here and you keep to the right and you follow that on. And here's a trickier point. The main road would appear to go straight ahead, although there is some signage, not for the actual walk, but there are signs showing to go left. So you go left at this junction and follow that road. Now the main road at this point goes to the left and you're going to go straight on. So at this point you take the left, at this point you go straight on. After you've made that junction there and you've went straight on, then it is a straightforward path all the way to the top. You follow this path. You keep following. At this point here, there is a turning circle. So there's a 4x4 trail and it kind of ends. There's a little bit of a 4x4 trail still going on here. You can go either to the right here or to the left. I chose to go to the left. It looked like a nicer walk. I also left my bike here. I had hoped to take the bike further, but going left at this point was very difficult on the bicycle. Difficult for me anyway. So you follow that and you're walking up through the valley, and then you come out over the valley. Again, you can see there are a number of different trails, but I followed what was the most obvious main path, and that takes you, and it bends at the corner here. I'll zoom out more because you just keep walking along this path, keep following the path, and it curves all the way around to the left until you get to this bit. There is an obvious stream that you cross here. It's not massive, and once you cross that stream you just keep to the hillside and you're going to go up to the right. The main path, the more prominent path, goes to the left. The fainter path goes off to the right, and you follow that and you work your way up, all the way up until you get to this point. You'll see in the ridge here there's a rocky outcrop on the ridge, so you're just aiming for that, a wee bit to the right of that. And then you're going to join another very clearly defined path that cuts across from left to right, and you're going to turn to the right. And this is the steepest section of the walk. You've been gaining altitude for the last couple of kilometres, but it's not been too steep. At this point it gets fairly steep. Again, nothing too difficult, and it doesn't last very long, so it's not too bad. Once you get up onto the summit plateau, it's fairly level. You do rise and up and down a little bit. And to my surprise, because I never noticed it when I was looking at the map, there is a large tor, and this is a large outcrop of rock. And for the very final point to climb the summit, there is some slight scrambling. It's very easy scrambling, and the rock is very sticky. It's very grippy rock. It was really nice to climb on. And from there, got amazing views. It was very windy, and it's a long walk to get to this point. You return on the same path that you approached, and you just make your way back. And it's obviously, it is easier on the way back. You don't have to think about any of the junctions because you've already walked through them earlier in the day. And you make your way all the way back to the car park. As always, I checked the Mountain Weather Information Service for the Cairngorms weather forecast. I downloaded it as a PDF, just for reference. It was going to be a bit windy, but not too bad, 20 to 30 mile an hour winds. So chance of cloud free was up to 70%. The temperature with the wind chill up to -10 degrees Celsius. Hello and good morning. I'm at the Invercald Estate car park. It's about 5 minutes outside of Beinn, and this car park is a pay and display, £3 for the day. They only take coins and there's no overnight camping permitted in the car park. So I stayed last night in Beinn. Let's see if the machine works. That works. Today's walk is well, it's going to be a walk and a cycle. It's the first time I've ever tried to do these two Munros, so I get to do something new for a change. Leave the car park, we're going to take that path over there that says 15 mile speed limit and goes to the left of these buildings. You'll come to this junction here, but we just keep going straight on. Ignore that one on the left there. We're going up to the right at this point. So we go down here, and it goes to the left, and then it bends back to the right. Just a little zigzag. Each time I come to one of these junctions, I just check the map, check my position on the GPS, just to make sure, because it's sometimes quite easy just to miss a turn. So this time we're going to go right, and you know, you would think with the main road going to the left, but that is the wrong road, so we're going up there to the right. After you cross that little stream, there is a junction here, but we just go straight ahead. The sun's starting to come up. It's a bit windy. I'm only halfway along this road, so it's about 50 minutes. There's about another 50 minutes, if not longer, to get to where I was going to drop the bike off. So about another 6 kilometres. The Garmin map shows the route to go down to the left. It looks like both paths go the same way, to be honest, but the one on the right looks a bit more broken up, a little bit further along. So we'll go along the left. I'll see how much longer I keep the bike. It's been very rough going, very rocky road. I'm going to give up on the bike at this point. It is possible we get a little bit further up and the path gets better, but this is not my kind of cycling. The other thing, I forgot the key to the padlock wrapped a wire around the wheel. Visual deterrent, won't stop anybody taking it if they want it. It's 9 AM, been going just over an hour, and it's started to rain. It's not heavy. It wasn't forecast to rain today. We have some blue sky, a lot of grey sky. Well, personally I think I made the right decision leaving the bike where I did. This isn't the sort of track I would want to try and cycle on. Spot there, you could actually come up here in the bikes and then camp, leave your stuff here and then head on up. Rain's going off again. So we have a couple of tents. There was 2 vehicles in the car park. You can leave your vehicle in the car park, you're just not allowed to sleep in your vehicle in the car park. So, probably about halfway there to the top. Another slight fork in the path. The one to the right here isn't shown on the map at all. So I'm going to go straight on. It's about 300 metres and then we'll take the right hand fork. The weather report said a 70% chance to clear tops. At the moment it looks like we're in that 30% chance of not having a clear top. And we'll keep going. Approach the next little fork. I almost missed it. It just goes down there. We're not going down to the left, so we're just following the main path. But on the map there is a clear bend to the right. And just a little bit further on there's another cairn and another little trail down to the left, but we keep going straight ahead. Starting to brighten up a little bit. There is a Munro. I can't pronounce it. I've got no internet access, so I can't check how it is pronounced. But there is a Munro just in the cloud right in the centre of the screen there. And that's actually the closest Munro to where I'm standing. We fork off right at the centre of the camera. We were focused there. We fork off there to the right, going behind this shoulder. And the summit is directly up and behind there. There are cycle tracks, so somebody's been along here on a bike and they look fairly recent, so probably those 2 campers. One of the cars in the car park had 2 bike racks on the roof. This bit, I could even cycle, but there were bits back there that were much harder. So that looks like the north top of the second Munro that we could do today. It's 4 kilometres from where I'm standing. So this kind of thing slows you down massively. The snow is not icy hard today, it's a bit softer, melted a bit, so you can kick your feet into it, but it still slows you down. And again, one step you might go 6 inches in, the next one you could drop 1.5 feet. It's nice and bright over there. At this point we're going to go off to the right, up beside that big block you can see. So we're going up the valley to the right. 3.5 kilometres to go to the summit. We're just under 700 metres and the summit is at 1100 odd metres. So still 400 metres of altitude to climb. But I can see a faint path just at the edge there. So I'll cross over about here and just make my way up that edge. I'll keep away from that. Now you get some nice views even on an overcast day like today. This path goes on to the, well, straight ahead I should say, and then it zigzags to the right. There is also a path that goes straight up to the right, but it was under all that snow. I can see some faint trails here, so I'm just going to go cross country and join up to the path up ahead there. The wind is picking up. It's a gradual climb up here. We're starting to, it does get a bit steeper, but it's not too steep. It continues up and then we'll turn right. Then there's a short, sharp, steep section, and then you're on the top. Well, I've got a nice video for when I do the image for that Munro. That'll make a good thumbnail. We keep going all the way up to the end of this valley. I was avoiding snow there and I went a wee bit too far to the right, so I need to make my way back to the left slightly. That's 3 hours into the walk. Been quite lucky with the wind. It's not been windy up until now, but it is picking up. One of the perils of crossing snow when it goes over water fortunately this wasn't me, so at least I know where not to step, but that's what can happen. Always got to be careful in snow. Well, it's looking not too bad up ahead. We get up to those pointy bits and then I'll go right and climb up the ridge and get up to the summit somewhere over there. Not too far to go now. This is proving to be a little bit difficult. There's a path under here and I keep falling into it. It's like this up there. I'm going to head up here and see if I get over the top of that bit. It's just a bit easier to walk along there. Still heading for those pointy bits. So as I started to go up, I saw a faint trail of footsteps and the snow was a bit more solid. So I managed to follow them to this point. I'm just going to keep following them, keep high above that bit where there's a slight crack in the snow. But making good progress. As long as the snow stays fairly solid and not too iced, it's not too bad to cross over. 600 metres to the turn, and at that point go right. It's just over 2 kilometres to the summit. This looks a bit dicey. Don't know how well it come out in the video, but there's a big sinkhole there. There's a very faint trail. Somebody's walked around the top of it. And then up to there. We'll see how that goes. So we're going to walk over this river. The snow feels a little bit more solid. Famous last words there. So eventually you'll come to this little cairn and we're going to go right. I'm going to go and have a look. It's definitely clearing up. And at the same time the wind is picking up. Sun's coming out. So I'm going to have my lunch and then after that make my way up to the top and then try to get back as quickly as possible, because it looks like it's going to take me 10 hours for today's walk and cycle. And in the winter time, that's quite a long day. I'll just get back to the car park before it gets dark without any mishaps. I've just come up the very steepest part there at the end. It's about 1 kilometre to the summit. That's relatively flat that way. The wind has really picked up, but the top is clear. Let's hope it stays that way. Looks like the first view of the summit of Ben Avon. Looks a bit trickier than I first anticipated. Just approaching the summit of Ben Avon and the sun's come out. Looks really nice. I'm just approaching the summit, the very final scrambling part. Go up there. We'll see how it is. It's a bit windy, but the rock's quite dry looking. Oh, already slipping. This rock's got a nice feel to it. Very grippy. Very windy. Even although it's green looking, it's still very sticky rock. Got a very rough texture. behind me. Me off the top of Beinn. Got a little bit of fun there in the scrambling. Really sticky rock. It was really good to hold on to. It's really grippy. But that's just under 5 hours to get to this point. And if I go for another 5 hours, it'll be 6 PM by the time I get back to the van, and it'll be dark. So I'm going to need to pick up the pace. Hopefully, if I don't have any stops, I can get back in 4 hours. I'm just going to do the one Munro because it just takes too long to do them both and getting back in the dark. So off I'm on my way now. It's really brightened up. It's quite nice, but at the same time the wind has picked up and been quite constantly windy at this point. Quite nice being able to retrace my steps from earlier. Gives you a little bit more confidence in where you put your feet. It's nice and sunny, still very windy. I'm hoping that once we get back down to the end of this bit of the valley where the winds first started to pick up, I hope it dies off at that point again. If it does, it'll be not a bad walk back. If it keeps up like this, it's not going to be too pleasant. The last tricky part is crossing back onto the path there. After that, it's a fairly straightforward walk. It's 2:30 in the afternoon. The sun's nice. The wind isn't so much fun. It's not really let up. When the wind dies down, this is really quite pleasant. You can feel some warmth from the sun. Unfortunately, the wind doesn't die down too much today. It's staying pretty blustery. I'm hopeful once we go round the corner here and drop down into the next valley, hopeful that the wind will cease at that point. We'll have that hill in front of us to block it. We'll see. I thought about taking the high road there and seeing how that goes, but I think it'll be less windy in the lower roads and just it'll be easier to get the bike because I'll walk right by it going that way. So I'm going to go back down the way I came up. Good news, wife's bike is still here. Visual deterrent worked. If you've managed to make it to this point, thank you for watching. This was a tougher walk and I don't think I was in the best frame of mind when I was on the walk. The wind, I really just don't like the wind, and it was irritating me, I should say. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video and I look forward to you watching the next one. Bye for now.